Are you serious? All right, family. Welcome, 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 welcome. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing great and having an amazing day today. Um, boy, I tell you, it's so much going on right now. It's just blowing my mind. And the sad thing is, we're not getting it. Why are we not getting it, family? Why do we not understand what we are dealing with in America? I don't tell me that. Can anybody help me with that? Um, this is one weird day today. I see people talking about the R. Kelly thing. I don't even want to comment on it because people aren't going to like my comments because I think now we are so busy trying to make our black men or America, well, black people also, we are so busy jumping on their bandwagon that we literally destroy ourselves. White America, these movie directors in Hollywood have been sleeping and raping, molesting children since the beginning of time, and not one has gone to jail. And you know why? Because of money. When R. Kelly was making money, nobody cared that he was peeing on. We all knew what he was doing. Everybody knew. I'm not saying he was wrong or right. But nobody said anything, right? Not saying that I agree with him or disagree. But what I want us to really look at is the whole picture. When he was making money, nobody cared. When he got broke, what they do? Then they took him down further, right? That's what white supremacy do. When they get done using their toys, they break them, right? When they get done molesting our children, they make alcoholics out of them. They make child molesters out of them, right? But we don't talk about that. We're so busy as black people pointing our fingers at our brother. But we have a hard time understanding that the bigger picture is they want to make our men look like what they've always made them look like. They want our men to look like the monsters. They want our men, they want the attention off of them. They want the attention off of Hollywood. They want the attention off of everything that Hollywood has done to our children, or white children, period. They don't want us to look at Hollywood and point fingers, do they? So what they do, they bring up Bill Cosby. They bring up R. Kelly. They bring up, who's the other, Gooden, Cuban Goody, right? I can't think of his whole name. They bring up our men, right? But when are you going to bring up yours? You brought up one, Harvey. But what about the rest? What about all the others? When do we get the lawsuits for them? When do they go to jail? God. We just can't win in these Americas. And they're not allowing you or trying to help you to win. They're not going to let you win. They're going to keep their foot on your heads. And we're going to keep our foot on our heads. We going to keep our foot on our head. And they're going to keep their foot on our head, right? When are we going to see what they're doing? When are we going to understand what they're doing? When are we going to see the bigger picture? In these Americas, they are always going to make or try to make us look like the enemy or what they are. Okay. You know what I noticed with them? When they want to say something, they always talk about us, but they really talking about themselves. And then we go talking about us. Right? They don't have to destroy us. We destroy ourselves. Okay. I want to talk about something today that was done on purpose to us. And it's always done on purpose. They always do stuff. Always test. But first, before I get to that, I want to talk about this. I seen this writing on Facebook where this young lady was having a problem with Delta. She came on there and she explained what happened, how the stewardess, or I guess you call them attendants or whatever, He was she came on. She had applied for a ticket. She got the ticket. They told her that, hey, we moved your seat to. She got first class and paid for it. And then when she got there, they told her that, hey, we moved your seat, and we put you in the back, by the exit door or whatever. And of course, she didn't want to sit at the exit door because she shouldn't have to. And she noticed as the plane was leaving that the seat that she applied for, that she paid for, was empty. So she asked the stewardess or the flight attendant, about why she had to move or why she couldn't sit in the seat that she originally paid for. And a stewardess or the flight attendant got really rude with her, So, of course, he got in her face and said some things and blah, blah, blah. End of the story. She ended up getting put off the plane because, the flight attendant felt threatened. She said she didn't yell. She didn't scream. She was just asking a question. She said, I'm entitled to ask a question, which she is entitled to ask a question. If I bought a ticket for a certain seat and I see that, you close the door, the seat is still empty, then I want the seat that I paid for, right? I think she was owed that, and she's owed an explanation like anybody is. If you see that what you paid for is available, why can't I have it now? That was her question. So I guess the flight attendant didn't like her, her asking him a question. So he puts his finger in her face and, says some things and, whatever. The end of the story was she got put off the plane, and then she wanted some advice as far as in the Facebook group. So a lot of your cousins, your Black family, was saying that she was wrong. They were saying that had to be more to the story, that tell the whole story, please, and all this stuff. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, why is it when we tell our story, these Black Europeans, we always have something to say negative against our own? One white person could say one thing negative, and one guy said, there's more to the story. And I mean, Black folk flew with it. I don't understand, why is it that we will not at least try to support our own? We've been brainwashed over the years. We know that. We know that. But when are we going to understand that everything that you see is not the way it is? We've been brainwashed to see it the way we see it. We've been brainwashed to see it this way, right? So why can't we look? Or why do we have to explain to them why we feel the way we feel? They're not going to ever understand why we feel what we feel. They're not ever going to get it. They can see it and they see what's happening, but they don't want to see it, or they don't care, or they want to judge. Welcome, Andre, welcome. Like and share as you come in. They don't want to understand truth that's right in their face. So she was trying to explain, and the white guy came on there and said, hey, it's got to be more to the story. And I said, and he began to say his part, and I said, hold on. I said, this is her story. You can't tell her story for her. This will never happen to you. It has never happened to you. And you're sitting up here trying to tell her that what she experienced isn't true. You don't have that right. She has a right to tell you her story. You have the only right is to sit down, shut up, and listen to her story and have empathy. You'll never understand her story, but you can have empathy and try to listen and learn something, because you'll never get it. You'll never understand the way we feel. Never. But instead of him understanding or trying to understand what she was saying, he went to talk and running his mouth about something that he will never know anything about. So why is that okay? Why is that okay? Why is it that we as a group of people, we understand and we see what's going on with them? We understand. The title was Daddy, Where Are You? Because it is imperative for us for our men, for our Black families to come back together. If we want to live, everything that you see has been done on purpose. Everything that you see has been done on purpose. But we know them and we see them and we understand how they act because we see how they act every day, but we do nothing about it. We know that we need to have our own schools. Let me tell you one thing. Afghanistan, America was there 20 years, right? Why do you think that they were not able to brainwash those people? Yes. Why do you think America was never able to brainwash Afghanistanians? They still stick together like glue, don't they? Then the ones that didn't, what did they do to them? The ones that didn't, that worked for America for 20 years, those people never forgot. What did they do? They took care of them, didn't they? They went house to house, knocking on doors, getting the ones out that was weak, that compromised their community, didn't they? But we don't do that. We allow people to compromise our community and we do nothing about it. Candace Owens, she's dangerous. She compromises our community. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Black Caucus, the whole Black Caucus. They are dangerous for Black people. They're not Black first. They're Democrat first. Therefore, a political party that hurts us economically in every kind of way that you want to imagine. And they sit there because they're getting paid and they're okay with it. Because long as I'm getting paid, but you know what? You're going to reap that. You're going to reap that dollar, honey. I hope you're enjoying those millions. Because they've been getting millions for a long time. And Karen, what's her name? The House leader, Karen Bass. She was with the Black Panthers. Can you believe it? And look how sorry she is now. She's pathetic. But we don't understand that. We allow white folk to tell our story. But let me answer the question. Even China, when you come into China, you don't get a leadership position. When you come in America, I don't care what group you are, you become governor. Look at the governor of New York now. Is she American? Is she American? Was she born here? Heck no. Was her family born here? Heck no. We allow anybody and everybody to come in as long as they're part of white supremacy and have leadership positions. China don't allow. Do you see any Black mayors in China? Anything Black in China running anything? No. Why? Because they don't allow foreigners to come in and be in charge of their people. Because they have a message and they want to keep that message the way the message should be. They want people to understand how great they are. And if you're not coming in with that same story, you're not going to get a leadership position. You're not getting a leadership position anyway. China has now banned effeminizing their boys. Any commercials that's got anything to do with effeminate, they banned it. You're not bringing that into my country. That's what China says. But Africa won't do the same. Tell me why. That bothers me. Why do we allow different ones to come in our country and do and say anything to us? You can go in Africa and get a leadership position. They have a police station in Africa. Make it make sense. Do you see a police station in Africa? Do you see an Africa police station in China? Heck no. And you never will. But you got one in Africa. Tell me why. You have white folks still. You have the French was there in Africa, right? In Haiti. They left their mark. They never left because you're still educating your children the way they told you to. And until we stop educating our children with their educational system, that's why Africa acts the way they do. They've been colonized, brainwashed, and this is why Black folk in America act the way we act. We've been colonized, brainwashed, and don't even understand why things will never change, why things hasn't changed. Out of all these years, and we're still we're getting further and further under massa. 1963, we had it going on before then. 1963 was the worst ever. Integration happened with Martin Luther King. The worst thing ever we could have ever done for ourselves. Why? Afghanistan never allowed America to educate their children. That's why they couldn't get in here with Afghanistan. They didn't let them come in and open up a school in Afghanistan. They said you were here to fight, you were here for a war, and that's it. China also will not ever allow anybody to come in and educate their children because they understand when you educate their children, you can brainwash children to believe any way you want them to. And we as Black folk, we allowed our enemies to educate our children. Why? And we're still doing it. We've still not changed anything because we have a Black school. We have a Black school. And you won't even send your children to the black school because we think white is better. But we've been brainwashed to believe that their system is better. And we have been brainwashed to believe that our black men suck. Our black men are sorry. Our black men, this, that, and the other. And a war has been placed on our black men since they were born in this country. A war. A war. You look and you go, how? You see how our men are treated? We have a report I want to read to you. It's called the Mayhem. Hold on, let me get that report. Hold on. Oh, let's see if I can find it. It's gone. Hold on. And it was written. Report 60 years later. That's the report. Mayhem. Moynham. I'm gonna just spell it for you. It's MOYNIHAM report. Okay. They want to resurrect it. I want the real thing. I want to tell you what it is first. I want to read this to you so you can help understand what it was. And it was about the Negro family, the case for national action. And this was in 65 when this thing was written, okay? And it was trying to help understand that we needed more in 63 besides legislation in order to understand. They knew that they had legislation on the books, but it was like gaslighting. You know, the amendments, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. The 13th that says we're supposed to not look like we're enslaved, but we can't get anything done. We can't even use it. Everybody else can use the amendment but us, and has. Okay. We talked about, and this was a national report, and it was written by, actually, it was read to President Johnson, but he was so racist. And the person that wrote it was a senator at first, okay? And he wrote this report because he saw that change needed to happen. But you know, you can't do change by yourself, right? And he wanted to help understand that we needed more than legislation, okay? We actually needed laws in place. We needed, our black men needed resources to be empowered, okay? America was so racist toward our men that even though they were free, America's mind was not free from slavery. You understand? So they still looked upon our men as little boys. They still looked at them as nothing. They still looked to them as like they were threats. But the guy that did the report, he was trying to help us to understand that the black family, okay, needed some help, our men. But let me just read a little bit. You know, I'm trying to hope it's not too long, Lord. Well, it's kind of into the beginning. Well, you know what? It's kind of long, but we're going to just do a little bit of it because it's really super long. It is. It is. I want to get down to the United States. It's approaching a new crisis. Okay. The United States is approaching a new crisis in race relations. In the decade that began with the school desegregation, which was the worst thing for us, decisions of the Supreme Court, and ended with the passage of the Civil Rights Act in 1964, the demand of Negro Americans for full recognition of their civil rights was finally met. Was it really met? No. The effort, no matter how savage and brutal of some states and local governments to thwart the exercise of those rights is doomed. The nation will not put up with it, least of all the Negroes. Okay, they still didn't want you here. Okay, still don't. The present moment will pass. In the meantime, the new period is beginning. Just like now, the past, the beginning for us is coming now. But the past is, it's almost like it did like this. It switched. It switched, right? It went from them rising to them falling to us rising. Okay. And that's what's going on now. Okay. In this new period, the expectation of the Negro American will go beyond civil rights being Americans. They will now expect that in the near future, equal opportunities for them as a group will produce roughly equal results. As compared with other groups, this is not going to happen, nor will it happen for generations to come unless a new and special effort is made. Do you hear what he's saying? There are two reasons. First, the racist virus in the American blood stream still affects us Negroes. Okay. Negroes will encounter serious personal prejudices for at least another generation. Did you hear that? Listen to me. Second, third centuries of sometimes unimaginable mistreatment have taken their toll of the Negro people. The harsh fact is that as a group at the present time, in terms of ability to win out in the competition of American life, they are not equal to most of those groups with which they will be competing individually. Negro Americans reach the highest peak of achievement, but collectively in the spectrum of American ethnic and religious and regional groups, where some get plenty and some get none. Okay. Where some seems 80% of their children to college, send 80% of their children to college, and others pull them out of school at the 8th grade. Negroes are among the weakest. Now, this is what they've always thought. Okay, come on. I need you guys to hear and understand what's going on now. Okay, this never changed. Yes, because they smile at you, you think, oh, they're your friends. They're not. Let's finish. The most difficult fact for white Americans to understand is that, hold on, I'm going to turn my phone. Maybe I can get it to do it a different way. There you go. Okay, maybe I can do it now. Okay, is that the structure, that of a structure, hold on, let me see. The fundamental problem in which this most clearly the case is that of family structure. The evidence, not finally, but powerful, persuasive, is that the Negro family is in the urban ghetto is crumbling. Okay, a middle class group has managed to save itself, but for vast numbers of the unskilled, poor educated city workers class, the fabric of conventional social relationships has all but deteriorated. You guys have to understand what's really going on here. They're telling you because they let you out of slavery, they did nothing to correct the damages. They did nothing to help heal the mentality of Black people. They never did any correcting of their own mentality. But we seem to think that these people that pass down racism from generation to generation, is now your friend. And you think that, okay, you've been treated so bad for so long that we don't even realize how bad we're still being treated. We've just gotten immune to it. You know that you can get used to pain, right? My husband, he at a very early age, he broke his back, right? He's lived with back pain for so long, it still pains him, but he don't realize it until it really hurts. One day it might be cloudy out and his back will really be at like a level 20 instead of a level 10, because the level 10, he don't complain, but when his back hurts at a level 20, he's like, oh, my back hurts, but his back hurts every day. That's us. It hurts every day, but until they turn it up and you really see some horrible stuff on the news. Just like right now, our babies are coming up missing. We don't even care. We're not even making a big deal out of it because it's something we used to. We go, oh, that's been since forever. And we're so prone to it. We're so numb to it that whatever they do to us, it's no big deal. It's like, well, this is not new. And I've heard people say it. Well, this is not new. They've been treating us like that since forever. But does that matter? Does it make it right? When are we going to get tired of it and do something about it? You can't just, your conversation should not be, well, okay, next, what else? No, let's change it. Let's do something about it. Because we see here that our families now, we're the 911. And if we don't bring our families back, our men back to the table, back to our homes, we're done. We're done. Not only are they trying to feminize our men, they put them in jail now. Been doing that, right? Now they're marrying them off of white women. And now they're recreating another culture with these white women, right? They're creating enemies for our babies, for my granddaughter, for your grandchildren. And they don't even understand what they're doing. They're so angry with Black women right now. They don't even know why they're angry. We're so divided right now. I don't even think we understand why we're divided. But it was done on purpose. It was done on purpose. But what are we going to do about it? When we know better, we do better, right? A middle-class group has managed to save itself, but for vast numbers of the unskilled, poorly educated city working class, the fabric of conventional social relationship has all but deteriorated. There are indications that the situations may have been arrested in the past few years, but the general post-war trend is unmistakable. So long as this situation persists, the cycle of poverty and disadvantage will continue to repeat itself. Let me help you to understand. If they had let us out of slavery with something, instead of letting us out with a bag of a potato and a piece of bread, and giving us those 40 mules, 40 acres and a mule, we would have had wealth. But because they knew that and they let you out with nothing, then we begin to build our own, didn't we? 1920s, 30s, 40s, we began to build our own cities because we was just tired of being around them. So we began to build our own cities. What did they do? They came and tore them up, tore them down, right? We had over 200 cities before Martin Luther King came and said, let's come together with enemies. And what did Black folk do? Let's put our children in their schools. What did Black folk do? Okay, let's let our enemies educate our babies. That was the best thing they could have did. Oh my God, they don't let us educate their babies. Oh, whoa. They was like, oh my goodness, here we go. We got them. Woo, we can tell they put a whole educational system together against us. Of things that they was going to teach our babies and things they weren't going to allow. They had teachers that worked in the Black schools. They didn't even hire those teachers because they didn't want those teachers educating theirs, right? But we wanted them to educate ours. So our teachers, our Black teachers, they lost their jobs. But they employed more white teachers. Why didn't we come to why would you come to a table and why would it be okay for enemies to educate your children? I don't understand that. We didn't have a problem with that. The Jews have a problem. Do you see the Germans educating the Jews' babies? Do you see any other culture educating any other cultures besides Black folk? We allow enemies, people that don't like you, to educate your babies. That makes no sense to me. I don't know why we act like we don't have any of this going on. We're very intelligent, very smart individuals. The thesis of this paper is that these events in combination confronts the nation with a new kind of problems. Measures that have worked in the past or would work for most groups in the present will not work here. A national effect is required that will give a unity of purpose to the many activists of the federal government in this area, directed in a new kind of national goal, the establishment of a stable Negro family structure. This would be a new departure of federal policies and a difficult one, but it almost certainly offers the only possibility of resolving in our time what is, after all, the nation's oldest and most intransigent and now its most dangerous social problem. What Germer Ryder said in An American Dilemma remains true today. America is free to choose whether the Negro shall remain her liability or become her opportunity. What did they choose to do? They choose to keep us as their what? liability. Our fellow, and I always go back to my Wesley Muhammad. If you guys haven't read this book, it behooves you to get this book. I'm telling you, this book is amazing, and everybody should have a copy of this book. Let's see what he said about the marriage and family among Negroes. Negro men have been more feared sexually and occupationally than Negro women. In fact, Negro women have more often proved attractive to the white world, not only as sex partners, but also as nurses or mammies, right? As a result, Negro women have been less isolated from the white world. They have more intimate contacts with it. They have lived in the homes of white families. They have had greater opportunities in mingling with white people, more black doors to be sure have opened to them. They have therefore felt more at ease in the white world, even in their contacts with social workers, agencies, and the world of bureaucracy. They have known their way around. Negro men and women have a belief tended to live in somewhat different worlds, both under slavery and after emancipation. Okay, you have to understand all of this was designed for us to walk into it. Nothing was done to improve our lifestyle for Black people. Even now, until the day. Look at how Biden just gave Afghanistanians, people from another country, he brought them in and given them housing, medical, schooling, $65 billion. $65 billion. And what's he done for Black people? He gave them a holiday. You have to understand what's being done on purpose. They want to put you further and further down the totem pole, so it'll be centuries before you can dig your way out. This is why it's so important, even now, that we start buying up land. If you want to live here in America, you start buying up land like crazy. Or you can go to Africa and buy up land like I did in the Gambia. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but every country that I touch my feet on, I'm buying land. And I'm going to leave it for my daughters. I'm just saying. Just like them white folk do. You have to leave a legacy for your children. You have to leave something for your children. You have to change this at some point. My granddaughter will never, ever, as much as investing I'm doing with her, for her right now, she'll never have to work another day in her life. Trust and believe me what I tell you. People don't understand that. You have to start somewhere. You can't always struggle. You have to invest your money, family. You have to be investing right now. You have to be buying silver and gold. You have to be buying a little Bitcoin here and there. You have to, if you know how to trade, get into trading. If you know how to do the stock market, Dr. Boyce Watkins has a stock market class. He's teaching you on finances. Take a finance class. It will be so worth your while. I don't care if it's $100. Take the class. You can afford $100 because I guarantee you'll come out with brand new ideas. You'll come out with brand new ideas how to invest for your future so that your future, your grandchildren, your great, and your children will have to suffer and struggle through. I taught my daughters to get a college education, but guess what? They did that. One has her own business. 3 of her own businesses. I'm just saying. But it's up to us if we are going to do it different. It's going to be up to us. Whatever results we get, it's going to be up to us. I'm trying to see. Negro community has been forced into a matriarchal structure. The Black I have a hard time pronouncing this word. In America is real. What did mayhem mean by Black matriarchy? I can't even say the word. It's so weird. He meant that either fathers were absent from the home, as were a fourth of the Black homes in 65, or while physically present, the lack of gainful employment forced a role reversal in the home, disempowering the Black father as head of the household. At the heart of the deterioration of the fabric of Negro society is the deterioration of the Negro family. Okay? You weaken the family, you weaken the nation. Do you hear me? Monahan documented his case with 24 pages of charts and tables. He suggested that until Black men reclaim their proper place as breadwinners, head of households, poverty, violence, and dysfunction would mar the hard-won progress of the civil rights. Okay? So Monahan urged in his report a national effort to focus government policies and resources on improving employment opportunities for Black men, and particularly with an eye toward reinstating them as primary breadwinners in the marital households. Feminists didn't like that. Despite all the negative press, the Monahan report received and still receives, while certainly not flawless, it did correctly identify the problem, its roots, and the consequences. But guess what? They did nothing about it. Okay? You have to understand this report was done in order to study Black men. Okay? This report was done to study us. They always study their subjects. They always study. Before they're going to conquer, they always study, how am I going to destroy these people? How can I destroy these people? We would have been so destroyed so long ago if we hadn't been chosen and Yahshua had have allowed them to, we would have been destroyed years ago. Welcome, Michael. I know, thank you, Maitri. I cannot pronounce that word for nothing. You even have it on there. I have a hard time pronouncing that word. Thank you, Michael. You do understand. How about if you just say it for me? I cannot pronounce that word to save my life. Forget it. Matriarchal. I still can't say it. Even looking at it, I can't say it. But thank you, though. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. That word is terrible. But I want you guys to understand that we have to get back to parent. We have to get back to two-parent households. All of what you're seeing is done on purpose. Thank you, Michael. I do appreciate you understand me. Okay. You understand what I'm saying, though, right? Okay. In order for Black America to heal from our slavery-inflicted wounds, I'm gonna point to that word when I get to the word, I'm going to point to you, Michael, okay? Growing ingenuity progress as the Black family must be reconstituted and strengthened. No strong Black family, no strong Black nation. And it is the case that in order for the Black family to be strengthened, the Black man must be reconstituted, empowered, and reintegrated into the family in his proper role. Mayhem, okay, I think I'm probably pronouncing this name wrong too, knew, like we know today, that as long as the Black man is disempowered in the home, he can never go out and become empowered in this hostile society that has literally been at war with his manhood for over 400 years. Do you hear of this family? Oh, God. Are you listening? We hear stuff like this. We read stuff like this. But then we do nothing. We do nothing. It takes one at a time. We have to start teaching our babies about marriage. Prime example, when my kids were small, I used to sing songs about them going to college. I did. I used to talk about elementary school. Then we talked about middle school. Then we talked about high school. And then I always mentioned college. That was the order. Both of my girls went to college and graduated. Why? Because I poured it into them. I brainwashed them women. Not saying that was the best at the time. It was for me, I thought. But then I knew my daughter was an entrepreneur. So I said, okay, you get your degree, you'll have something to fall back on. So she has her own business, 3 businesses, and a degree. Okay. So now we can start talking about family life. We have to include that in the rhyme now. Getting married, having babies, getting married, having babies. In that order, you have to begin to change their mindset. If we don't begin to change their mindset, nothing is going to change. And it starts with us educating our own children. And we can have a class as far as family therapy. We can talk about family. We can talk about being married. We can talk about the order and what we do, the way we do it. Nobody is teaching our children what order is done. They are seeing it on TV. They don't see any Black on Black families. They don't see black men with black women. They see black men with white women. So what is that? When are we going to take back the reins from enemies, start educating our own children, and start talking about loving each other? Start talking about having families with black men. Start talking about being married again. Start talking about these subjects. These are very important subjects. You can't just go ahead and have baby with any and every man that you see. That's something that needs to be taught. These young girls are watching some crazy stuff on TV, and we're allowing it. No, we start holding our entertainers accountable. If you cannot put out some positive music, then no, we won't buy your songs. We won't even let our children look at your disgusting videos, Cardi B, Lil Nas. I actually had an argument this week about Lil Nas and his disgusting self. And you know, so many black people are so, you know what? I look at the mindset of our black young folk. We're talking about like 20, 30-year-olds. I'm looking at the mindset, and I hear so many women saying, oh, it's nothing wrong with it. I'm saying, but you're allowing your son to watch this nastiness. You're allowing him to sing his music. Do you not understand what you're doing to your son, what seeds you're sowing into your son's life? We don't even have an understanding that birds of feather flock together, even communication corrupt with good manners. We don't even understand. I always was taught by my mom, birds of feather flock together, meaning if you're not, you will. If I'm hanging out with somebody, say for instance, I had a friend, well, not a friend, I was young, I didn't understand, but it was a white girl, right, at the time. And I understand different now, but she used to hang around, and at first she didn't like black guys, right? But guess who ended up dating black guys? Why was that? Her idea changed because she was saying, I don't date black men. And she didn't. And that was good because I didn't date white men. So guess what? But she would want to hang out with me. Eventually, she started dating black men. I asked her, so what happened? What changed? Well, birds of feather flock together, right? But that wasn't for me. I'm just saying. But you have to understand, evil communication corrupt good manners. You can stand for something for so long, but you keep hearing how great they are. And being a white woman, you hang around a black woman, you hearing all this, well, black men this, black men that, the goods. Then the white girl wants to try it, right? You go around a white girl and start talking to her about, you go around any woman and start talking to her about your man. Guess what? She's going to want to try it, right? You have to understand what is sown into your ear is what's going to come out, what you're going to operate in, what you're going to do. Why do you think the news constantly talks about black crime on crime? Why do you think the news constantly talks about how negative black people are? Because what's going in is what people see, and that's when they have these ideas about black people. Even if they don't know anybody black, they've heard, well, I've heard this, so it must be true. The news, I saw the news, this is what a black man done, but they're not putting white men on there. They're not putting white men on dresses. They're not putting white men how they're killing their whole families, because the FBI crime tells us that white men are the most dangerous. They killing up their whole families. They shooting up schools. They shooting up daycares. Look, your national FBI crime website says this. Look it up. White men are the most dangerous. I'm just saying. But looking at the news, you think it's black folk, right? Yes, that's done on purpose. They're not going to dare talk about their stuff. They'll bring yours out, which is what they always do. But they never talk about their stuff. They never correct their stuff. I'm white and I say so. They never tell you how their kids, what about that young man, what was his, the guy was like 19, 20? He raped a 2-year-old, right? When for the judge, what the judge say? Oh, we can't do anything about this. You didn't have permission to tape him. Are we doing that now? We have to have permission to see him raping the 2-year-old. We put it out there, we tape it, and the judge let him go because you didn't have his permission to tape him having sex with 2-year-old. This is what they're creating in America with white boys. They never get in trouble. It's always an excuse why it was okay when they do what they do. This is why they continue doing what they do to us. And now they got you scared to move, black man. They got you scared to do anything because, man, they'll throw the book at you. I seen the other day where one kid, he was white. He did the same exact thing, committed the same exact crime as a black kid did. The black kid got 26 years. The white boy got 2 years probation. I understand what's going on. But we have to understand what's really going on. We were doing really well before we came together with them in 1963. I'm sorry. When Martin Luther King came out and said, oh, one day we're going to do this, that, and the other. That wasn't something that we should have been doing, because we did a whole lot better not being mixed in with them. And just think about those clinics, those hospitals that we had back in the day. We could have fixed them up. We could have put our own money into it, right? We could have put our money into our own hospitals. We would have been balling right now. But we decided to give up everything. We had to over 200 cities. How many black cities do we have today? None. Why? You see, highways ran through them. They tore them down because you wanted to come together with enemies. And they knew that was a prime example. Man, we can treat them any kind of way now. We got them back. Y'all came from slavery, from up under them, and then turn around and get back under them. That made no sense to me. God, I don't understand. Oh, let me finish. Sister, if you want your husband to be a man out there, you must help him to be the man in the home. Ladies, you hear me talking, ladies? Listen up. You have to help place him on his throne in the home. But it doesn't start, brothers, with you feeling, okay, listen to this. But it doesn't start, brothers, with her letting you be the man. It starts with you determining to be the man in your home, whether she or anyone else likes it or not. In order to be treated as a man, we have to be the man. You can't be sitting on somebody's couch playing games all day, ain't bringing no money to the table, ain't taking care of nothing, but you just sexing her up and you think that's your castle. It don't work like that. Okay, let me continue. But the Mayhem Report also know that, as we know now, that in order for the black man to actually be the man in his home, he must be able to perform the duties of a man in the home. And that requires gainful employment and or access to resources. And having your own business helps. I'm just saying. We have to stop thinking that they're going to help us. They're not. They've known about this report. Since, oh God, this report was done like in 65, I think. They've known about this. What have they done to change it? What have they done to do anything about it? You think Biden don't know about the report? He read the report. That's why he's doing what he's doing. He's setting up white supremacy against us because he know all these foreigners that they bringing over and they brainwashing them and they watching the news and they seeing all this black stuff. You think they're not going to start thinking the way that they think? White supremacy is white supremacy nationwide. And he's setting it up for them to continue treating us the way they've been treating us. Even after white folk are the minority. They're already the minority. They keep telling you that we the minority. They keep telling you that we 12%. You think that we're going to be 12% all this time? You still think we 12%? Are you crazy? We have baby like roaches. You think the Mexicans have come in this country and have outpassed us? We have babies just like the Mexicans do. Don't let them keep telling you that we're only 12%. We're not just 12%. But they're not going to tell you that they're dying off. They're not going to tell you that their kids commit suicide. They're not going to tell you that they're dying. They kill their family members. They kill whole family members. When they do something to us, they get paid back by killing their whole family. Stuff comes back to them, and they look up, the whole family is dead. The one young man was on trial, and the judge, he kept doing stupid stuff, burning down the mama's house. He beat up the mama. Then the grandma tried to help. No, he beat up the grandma. The mama tried to help. Then he went and beat up the grandma and the mama. Then went to jail about that. Didn't go to jail, went to court. The judge gave him a slap on the wrist. Okay, let him go home. And then he turned around and burned the neighbor's house down. Then went back to jail, went back to court for that. Then the judge gave him a slap on the wrist again, 30 days or whatever. Then he got back out. And then he turned around and beat up the mama again. Went back to court, and the judge said, oh, he'll do better this time. Came out of jail and burned the whole family down and killed everybody. I'm just saying, this is what they do. This is what they don't do. They don't teach and train and discipline their children. Their children could do anything and everything. Exactly. So you're right, Michael. It's impossible, especially when the birth rate has always increased. Exactly. So why do we continuously allow them to tell us our story? And we believe it because I hear people say, well, we only 12%. Like, no, we're not. We can have our own political party, but we won't even try it because we believe in the hype. We didn't drink the Kool-Aid. It's time to wake up. It's time for us to run this right here. We built this. It's time for us to run this. We didn't let these devils be in charge of us for way too long. And what does it say? When you got the wicked in charge, you got chaos. When you got devils in charge of you, Biden is the biggest liar ever. That man, he gonna have the biggest, blackest demon right next to him. I'm telling you, that dude right there is not right, and we know he ain't right. He's been racist all his life. And black folk voted for this devil and gave him the highest seat. He'd been trying to be president. I think he ran for like 5 times before he actually made it. And all these black folk voted for him. He devastated the black community. That's enough said. That's neither here nor there. I don't understand it when we know and we think that these people are your family, are your friends. I've heard people say, oh, that's my girl right there. White girl. Why? How is she your girl? Because you safe for her? But when it comes down to it, is she going to be your girl when you really need her? Is she going to be your girl when you trying to go against her family members or her white partners? You're going to see how close she's not to you. You're going to see how on code she is with hers. I guarantee you that. Wilbur, welcome. Welcome. Like and share as you come in, you guys. But we have to get to the point where we're bringing back the families. And I want you guys to look up that what is that report? I want you guys to look up that Mayhem report. Okay. I need to spell it for y'all because I know I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. This thing is so long, but I want to look at 50 years later. Hold on, this is another blaming the victim in 71 book, blaming victim for decades later. I want to see I'm trying to find this. It's had the 50 years later. Hold on, you guys. I want you guys to read that report. That report is amazing. Here's another one. Oh, this is the one that says, I think 50 years later. Hold on. Did I finish reading this? Okay, this one is, I'm going to spell this word. It's Moynihan. Mailhan? Is that it, Michael? Come on, help me. 50 years later, why marriage more than ever promotes opportunity for all. Okay. And who wrote the report was Patrick Mailhan. Okay. Who later served as a U.S. Senator from New York. Trying to see full report. Let me get that report. And 65, Assistant Secretary of Labor. I don't want to read that part. His report focused on the increase of disparities between white and black Americans in terms of income, standards of living, and education. Mailhan, right, boldly asserted that the root cause of these disparities was the breakdown of marriage in the black community. The fundamental problem he assessed is that of family structure. In this report, Mailhan called for national efforts to strengthen the black family in America. While the report was denounced by activists at the time, Mailhan observations were valid and the problems he identified has worsened over the past 50 years. Family breakdown among all the Americans is the far greater problem today than it was 5 decades ago. To advance opportunity for all in America, policymaking and other leaders must promote marriage and the intact family in policy and culture. But he's talking about in all, but the report that he wrote back in 65 was talking about the Black family. Okay. Overall, talking about marriage and overall in 65, only about 7% of men and women had never married at age 30, by age 35. And then talked about the single family household overall. About 11% of children lived in households led by single mothers. About 6%, 29% was Black children living in the homes with single mothers. Unwed childbearing, the percentage among the Blacks was 4%. Wait a minute, 26%. And then they talked about the divorce rate. And then they're talking about we are 50 years later since the Monic report breakdown. Let's see, overall, this percentage of never married Americans. She talks about that. But it's time for us to really understand that two paychecks are better than one. Okay. When you can do more with two. And I don't understand, why is it so hard for us to see that we're in danger right now and we don't even understand? We are at a 911. Mayhem, yes. We are in trouble. Black families, Black men, Black women. They have on purpose divided and conquered us. And we have gotten to the point where we don't even want a Black man. Some women will look and say, I'd rather date, a white man. And they really think that they're safe with these white dysfunctional beings. Okay. They're white and they've always been dysfunctional and they're never going to change. They talked about tragically family breakdowns include the decline in marriage and the rise of unwed childbearing and divorce, leaving children in fragmented families and at significant greater risk for poverty and other negative outcomes that can hinder our opportunities to thrive. First, children in single parent homes are at much greater risk for poverty compared to their peers in married parent homes. Children in single family homes are more than 5 times as likely to be poor. Children of single parents families also experience diminished educational opportunities. They are less likely to graduate from high school and to attend and graduate from college. I don't believe that. I don't believe that part. Furthermore, marriage protects children against delinquent activity. You believe that, you guys? Teens in father-absent households are significantly more likely to engage in criminal activity and are more often likely to be incarcerated. Teens from single-parent households are also at greater risk for abusing alcohol and drugs. I don't believe that because I know some white kids and they off the chain because that's what their mamas and daddies do. I'm just saying. Okay, teens of non-intact families are also at greater risk for engaging in early sexual activity and are becoming teen parents. I don't believe that either. Okay, I believe that parenting is everything. You putting down a strong foundation as far as parenting is concerned. I do believe that that's what's called for right now. I do believe that I don't believe in, about if your parents aren't there, early sex. It's all in your parenting. Okay. The need to strengthen the family is even more urgent today than it was 50 years ago. Wow. How was saying his name again? Monahan. I'm telling you, these names are terrible. Report focused on the Black family. And while the concerns today is all the greater for this original group, tends to trends in marriage and family breakdown are a concern among America of all races. But you have to understand where it came from. Where did the breakdown come from? You know where it came from in the 70s, right? When they took the jobs from, they know what they were doing. This guy did this report in like 65, I think it was. And in 70s, it was when Reagan and Nixon dropped drugs in our neighborhood. And because, the Black Panthers was coming about and Black folk was getting Black power and they was really thinking about, we scared them to death. So they had to do something to break down the family breakdown. They had to do something. And that's when they closed the jobs for our men. They stopped hiring our men. And even now, they don't hire Black men. Where are Black men working right now? McDonald's? Where are they working right now? At home? They need their own businesses. I'm just saying, group economics men. If you have a skill, get with like-minded men and open your own business. For me, myself, I support. I just, hate when we charge so much money to where we break every person that come along. You don't have to break a person. You'll get more business with, your prices being decent. I'm not saying you being you're undercharging yourself now, but be fair. That's what I'm saying. Some of us in North America are slowly buying into the falsehood that they are better as partners. Yeah, exactly. We buying into it. We sucking it up. But guess what? However, they are desperate now, trying to over promote swirling because not enough of us are engaging in that. And yes, but guess what? A lot of us are, and they know that they need us to survive, because right now, look up the sperm. Their sperm count is low. They're not able to reproduce, and they know. And Biden told you by the year 2040, they're going to be minorities. They're already minorities. Don't let that cracker tell you that they're not. They're already minorities, Michael. We have to understand that. He didn't get on national news and say America's doomed, because not just because of African Americans. Did anybody hear when he said that? When he said that, I thought, but nobody said anything. And I was like, did he just say that? He said America was doomed when he made that speech, not just because of African Americans, but because why? By the year 2040, white folk gonna be the minority. That's what he said. But it's way now. They already minorities. We have to know that. So they need us to survive. And guess what? Black folk falling right into it. Michael, however, they are desperate now, trying to over promote swirling because not enough of us are engaging in that annihilation behavior. Yes. And this is in all countries dominated by Neanderthals. You're right. Because they train there. You have white girls that have been trained in that area. And I did a story on this probably maybe about 2 months ago, about how the South African president he told the secret. He said they have trained some white women to have babies by black men, because they know that they have to be reproduced. They know, but what they're gonna do is white them out, just like China and Africa is marrying African women, and those Chinese babies are going to marry Chinese men and women, and they're going to wipe themselves out. People have to understand what's going on. Boy, this thing, I'm gonna tell you what, if they had a choice to annihilate us, we would have been gone, Michael. They don't have that opportunity. They don't get that choice, because we are the chosen. We are the chosen, whether you know it or not. People don't understand that. We are the chosen. Yes, we're treated bad for a reason, but we still have to understand that it's a whole lot of stuff that they do that we can't do. Okay? Hold on, let me see. While it is still necessary today to fight systematic injustice, hold on, in 1965, the generation of injustice and racial oppression that had contributed to the weakening of the family in the African American community were pigment. Okay, I got another word. I can't even pronounce it. Come on, help me out. P-O-I-G-N-E-N-T. I can't say it. Come on, help me, Michael. You know what I'm saying. While it is still necessary today to fight systematic injustice where it exists, it is critical to strengthen the institution that nurtures opportunity and protect against the many adverse outcomes that are associated with family breakdown. Without addressing these issues, far too many children will be left with diminished opportunities to reach their full potential. The conclusion, policymakers and other leaders must find ways to strengthen marriages. They can start by ensuring that policy does not undermine marriage. This can be accomplished by reducing marriage penalties prevalent in the nation's means-tested welfare system. Let me tell you something. We are the only culture that they tell you that we can't have our men in the home. Did you guys know that? Spanish people come here, they get welfare, and they're never told not to have men in their homes. You know that? Those foreigners, the immigrants, they can have the grandmas in the house, the great grandmas, the men, women, children, all intact in one household. Black folk is the only ones that's told you cannot have a man in the house. Yes, thank you. Michael, thank you. I still can't say Forget it. I'm serious. I still can't say it, but thank you. I love you. That's my brother right there. Oh my goodness. I tell you the truth. Hold on. My little thing went out. Hold on. But we have to understand that we've got to get to the mindset that ask the question. Let me ask you a question. Why are we as Black folk the only one that they tell that to? That you can't have your man, Section 8. You can't have a man in the house. Why would you not want us to have our men in the house? Has anybody ever thought about that? Has anybody ever thought about that? Isaac, welcome. Like and share as you come in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's talk about that. Why is it that Black women are the only women that's told that they cannot have their husbands or men or partners in the house with them when they're on Section 8 or welfare? Why is that? Those are policies that was made in the 70s when they was offering women welfare, when they was jailing our men because of drugs. They put drugs in your neighborhood. Then men sold the drugs and done the drugs. Then they went to jail. Then the women had to take care of the families, and things never got back into order ever since then. Because we so busy blaming each other. Well, you told me to leave. The men say, well, the woman told me to leave, so I left. And the woman say, but I told you to leave, but you left. You didn't have to leave. Well, my thing is, why are we arguing that today? Let's just bring it back together and get the healing that we need. I wish that we had facilities that we could, because we need to be deprogrammed. I think that's the word. We need to be deprogrammed, because I'm telling you, I'm seeing some stuff across the board, and it's scary. I mean, you got some men, Black men, that hate Black women. They hate, and I'm like looking at them like, dude, those white women, they're very dysfunctional. You done went from a 10, which is a Black woman, to digging in the garbage, to a 0. And they don't even understand. But I wish they would talk to some of these Black basketball players, like Dr. Dre, who's going through a tweet, been married to his wife 20 years, and that woman taking his behind through the cleaners. I think Scottie Pippen, right? Scottie Pippen, he had a white woman. I'm just saying, I wish they could talk to some of these Black basketball players who have married white women and going through hell with them now. Yes, they stuck with you for 20 years, but now you're going through hell trying to get away from her. You went through hell during the marriage, but you were stuck because you knew if you left that she was going to take half of your belongings. I'm just saying, we got to get back to this. We have to understand, ladies. I'm talking to the ladies. We need our men. We cannot do this without our men. I wouldn't even want to do without my husband. I couldn't even imagine doing this life without my husband. That's my best friend. And when I say we talk about some crazy stuff, because he got a wife like me. Okay, I'm more more pro-Black than he is, but he still understands his wife. We understand each other. And sometimes I hear some white supremacy coming in his mouth, honey. You can't say that. This is what it is, blah, blah, blah. You understand what I'm saying? But we have that balance. But I don't want to do without my husband. Nobody's perfect. No marriage is going to be perfect. No person is perfect. So we got to come to the table knowing that we have imperfections and knowing that we've been in a country for 400 years, generation passed down generation hurts, passed down generational curses, passed down generational beliefs, true or false. But it is now time for us to understand that it's now time for us to get the healing that we need. It is now time for us to educate our own babies. That is the main thing. And that is how they did it, through the education. Even in Africa, they had the French left, but they left the system. You can't leave a system. You let the person leave, you kick a person out, but you left their system. You could have just left the person there because you're still walking in the system they laid down, the foundation. You cannot keep that corrupt foundation and expect your country to grow with the stuff from old that was passed down from the French to you. You can't do that. So this is why Africa still thinks the way they think. And they look to, and I have a guy that I work with from Sudan, and I'm telling him, and I get into it all the time because he's thinking, he goes, Cassie, he goes, you think different. I said, yeah, I do. He goes, but a lot of my people from my country thinks he has that white supremacy mindset. And he told me one day, he goes, well, it was, if the white man hadn't come to Africa, we'd be still blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking, it was bad. And I'm like, still what? I said, dude, what are you talking about? Black folk came here and built America. Do you not know that? They wouldn't have been able to build this country without us. They wouldn't have been able to handle the sun. They would have died, right? I said, we built this country. He looked, he goes, no, white man built it. No, bruh, we built the country. I mean, what comes out of his mouth, and he's from Sudan, and he tells me, he goes, when you go there, you're not going to like it because we all think this way, the way he thinks. And I'm telling you, some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is, when he tells me that, thank God we had white folk to come over to Sudan and we need to be up under white folk because it's the stuff that he says is so sickness. Sometimes I tell him, look, dude, I'm not talking to you today because you didn't got on my nerves. I can't deal with him every day. I mean, especially now, some days he'll be where he's talking, and I think I've gotten through. Then other days he'll say stuff like, oh, yeah, we needed white folk to be over us in Africa because we would. I mean, some of the stuff is, oh, God, it blows my mind for people to think the way he thinks. And he goes, well, he was listening to some monk guy, and he was telling him that we were Satan's children, and the black people were this, that, and the other. And I'm looking at him like, you actually repeat that stuff today? I said, you don't need to be reading that book. I said, you need to throw that book away. Oh Lord, I need the fan, because I'm telling you, some of the stuff, even thinking about some of the stuff that he was saying is just making me hot, right? But this is the way he thinks, and this is the way a lot of African people think, and this is what he told me. And I hear it even in some of the posts that I'm reading on Facebook, and we're talking about the different things that's going on with African people and how they treat their own is just but white folks have taught us we do it here in America, and we think the same thing. We just don't say it the way he said it, but we still have a lot of white supremacy in us. When I hear black folks hollering about black on black crime, dude, what are you talking about? We have more white on white crime. If you look at the FBI statistics, there go my word, Mike. Another word, statistics. Okay, you would see that white men are more violent than black men. That's not in us. A lot of what they have done to us, a lot of what they've done in the past, black men would never have done it. We wouldn't even think about this. That's why I'm looking at Polite, and I'm like, did he really? I believe that, now that we've been around them so long, we're beginning to take up their attributes. We're beginning to follow after enemies, and we're beginning to take on some of their behaviors. Okay, but we got to do better, because this is why we're in the predicament we're in now, because of the curse, and you have to understand that. But if a lot of people don't know their history, then you won't understand what I'm saying now. But let me read your comment, Mike. I know the crap that comes out of some of my African brothers and sisters simply makes me just share. Yes, we are peaceful. Yes, Isaac, we are peaceful. We are peaceful, forgiving people by nature. You don't even have to tell us to forgive. We're going to forgive because we go, okay, let it pass, and we're going to move forward. But when you got a lot of white folk around you, they keep up so much mess. They keep up. See, Mike, I can't even say statistics. See, I have a problem with that word too. It's some words I just can't get it, okay? But I understand what you're saying. Thank you, Mike. But yes, you can be in a room and you can work a job with number white folk. Well, you can have black and white folk, and you'll have so many black folk thinking just like them. And we think like them because we've allowed them to educate our children. We think like them because we've been around them. So, and I do believe, and you guys help me if I'm wrong, when we came around them, we had everything in 1963, 65, right? We had everything. We had our own banks, we had our own villages, we had our own homes, own hospitals, own leagues. I do believe that when we came together with them, we lost everything. We had over 200 cities that we gave up to come together with them. That right there was and this right here, what we're seeing now is our punishment. We got free. God allowed us literally to be free. And what do? We moved across the town. We started building cities like Black Wall Street and Greenville, and we had cities in New York. Central Park was a city. You guys know that, right? Central Park was a city, and they took it doing eminent domain, right? And they took the city to make a park. You desecrated a black city in order to build a park. That's crazy. But you have to understand that's what they did to a lot of our black cities. They made highways, freeways, parks, beaches. We had it was a beach in New York. That was a black beach. Wasn't in New York or California. I think it was in New York. It was a black beach, and they took it, and it was a black family that had some they had a resort, and they took it, and them black folk was doing really well, and they took the resort and they took it and made it into a white they took it, and made it something else, eminent domain, which they had a right to do in those days. But we have to understand, if we hadn't wanted to come together with them, why would you give up everything? Why would we give up anything to come together with enemies? That made no sense to me. And who came up with that idea? And I do believe that that's why Martin Luther King died, because God never told him to bring us together with them. And that was the worst thing he could have done. That was the worst thing. Yes, in the last end, he understood, because he said, what did he say, Mike? He said, well, Burr, I said, okay. But you have to understand that, what did Martin Luther King say? He said, I brought my people into a burning building. And I believe that he found out we didn't go after economics. We went after social. We wanted to be social. We wanted to be accepted. The hell with that. We should have been going after equality, and we should have had separate governments. We should have kept it separate, had two separate governments. You have your president for your people and a president for our people. But I'm going to tell you what, I think things would have been a whole lot different. It wouldn't have been like these white folk coming, black folk coming up under these white folk, and they're paying Black Caucus so much money they want to do nothing for your own. And they pay them, because if somebody on the Black Caucus started trying to do things for Black people, I guarantee you they would get unvoted, they would get they would wreak all kind of havoc. Yes, into a burning building. Yes. Furthermore, policy makers should send a clear message about the critical importance of marriage and the intact family, particularly, there we go again, particularly with regards to how strong families protect children from poverty and other risks. Mike, we got to move here. They can do this through a public advertising campaign, which is great because they know how important it is to advertise, right? He said they can do this through a public advertising campaign, follow the model of anti-smoking campaign, and campaigns that have encouraged youth to stay in school. Leaders in all sectors should utilize their resources to strengthen the nurture healthy marriages. Churches and nonprofits and community-based organizations must also make the strengthening of marriage and family a priority. Is that what our churches did, you guys? Let's talk about that statement. Is that what our churches? I have not seen. Thank you, Mike. But I have not seen where our churches did a good job. That's why they can't leave us alone. They do. Yes, I think you're right. And you know what? And it's so sad how our men, how Black people don't understand that we have the power in our hands, and we don't even understand how much power we have. Every time I see a power move, like how we stood behind, who was the guy that kneeled? The football guy. I'm not good at sports. He knelt on one knee, and everybody had a fit. But Nike supported him. And did you not know Black folk went out? I mean, they were supporting Nike, and they gave Nike millions and millions of dollars by the support that they did, because they supported. Who's that guy that knelt on the ground on that knee, and everybody went after him? Oh my God, he was a football player. Oh God, I want to Kaepernick. Is that his name, you guys? The one the Black guy that kneeled, and everybody went against him, and he went without a job for a long time. But then Nike started supporting him, and then Black people got behind Nike and blew up Nike. And then even with the church, the chicken sandwich, Popeyes. You see how Black people kept. Was it Kaepernick? Yes. Okay, Kaepernick. Thank you, Kaepernick. But do you see how much power we had? We blew up Nike, didn't we? We got behind. But this is the power that we have when we get together. But we still don't see it. Why don't we see that? Why don't we see that we have the power is in our hands? And I see it turning around real quick now. I see things turning so fast now. And I'm like, wow, does anybody see this? I see it. And we still don't understand the power that we possess. Why? I don't understand that. But like he said, we need a campaign. And that's what the churches could have did. The churches could have been used to heal the Black family. And like when you see where the men was leaving the families, the churches, all they had to do was say, men, we're not going to do this. We're going to stick with our women. We're going to do this. And even with the women, the churches could have kept women correct, because we listened to our churches. We looked up to our churches. We looked up to our pastors, didn't we? And we did what they told us to do. That's why a lot of black folk taking that shot, because they pastors telling them, hey, you can't be on the music on the choir anymore, and you can't come to church if you don't take a shot. Or God, I shouldn't even mention that. Lord, they're gonna start messing with my feet. Okay, you know what I mean. Okay, the Kool-Aid. How about that? And when we started, a lot of pastors, kind of sold us out and said, okay, you need to take Kool-Aid now. And what black folk do? Okay, we went because we trust our pastors, not knowing that they've sold us out. And we're trusting them that they got our back. But they don't have our back like they used to. They don't have it anymore. They used to, though. That's the sad part about it. Let's keep reading. It's just a little bit more, and then I'm going to be done, you guys. Yeah, it's just a little bit more. But we trust it. It's just so sad at how we trusted our pastors and they let us down. Like and share as you come in, you guys. Like and share. Furthermore, policy should send a clear message. Okay, I read that part. Leaders in all sections should utilize their resources to strengthen and nurture healthy marriages. Churches and nonprofit community-based organizations must also make the strengthening of marriage and family a priority. It will require great courage for leaders to push back against the reveling culture trend of family breakdowns. That's true. But see, they understood and they understand, and they've always understood. This report came out in 1965. So they've had all this time to fix it. And what have they done? The opposite. Because it came out when Lyndon Johnson was president. He ignored it. Then Nixon, Reagan, they've all ignored it. Welcome, Ingrid. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Orlando. Yay. Ingrid's in the house, you guys. Welcome, welcome. But we have to understand, I want everybody to read that report too. It will require great courage for leaders to push back against the prevailing culture trend of family breakdown, particularly since America is now seeing second generation and third generation fragment families. However, these efforts is necessary if America hopes to restore and expand opportunity for Black America. I'm telling you, this report is just, and I'm gonna tell you, it's the mayhem report. Okay, it's MOY. Hold on, let me see. Okay, MOYNIHAN report. Okay, you guys need to read that report because I'm telling you what, it's an eye opener, and it's just so sad. And in my Understanding the Assault on Black Men, Black Manhood, and Black Masculinity by Wesley Muhammad, he talked a little bit about that report in his book. And they said if we don't get it together, we're gonna be in trouble, because we seem to believe, women, that we can do without our Black men, and we cannot. No man on this earth knows your hurt like a Black man, and no woman on this earth will know your hurt men, Black men, like your Black queen. We got you. All we have to know is that you support us, and we can trust that security. We Black women need security. We need to know that no matter what, you got us. No matter what, I don't care if I come home and I talk about whatever. I need you to listen. I need that ear, and I need you to tell me it's going to be okay. We need to understand. We have to heal. We've not done that, and we've allowed enemies to come in and tell us our story. They can't tell you your story. They can't tell us. I remember one time Biden said something about we needed them to teach us how to parent. We see how his son came out, okay? But you're going to try to teach us how to parent. No, thank you. No, thank you, Biden. You can't teach me nothing. I'm just saying. And they really want to come in and tell Black people how to parent and what to do with our children. You can't tell me nothing. Look at your children. Our children ain't blowing up schools, shooting up schools, Walmarts, daycares, going inside the church, killing 9 folk. You can't tell us nothing. We got this. You need to be listening to us, how we raising our children, because they kids off the chain. And then we to go to court and they want to tell you, okay, you need to do this, that, and the other. You can't spank your kids. Get out of here. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It is time for us to understand, how do we heal? How do we move forward? We need campaigns, and this is why we need our own television. We need our own everything. We need our own televisions, sets. We really need more Black YouTube media. We really, I mean, because they're not going to let us do a BET. We had a BET, and the only BET, they sold it. We had more Black stations back in the day that used to come on. We had a lot of Black programs back in the day that would come on. And what do? We watched them. But they took them off. They took them off. And then they started promoting their news, right? And then the Black people that they was hiring started promoting their viewpoints, right? They came in there, you hired them, you had to speak their language. If you don't speak their language, even to today, they're not gonna hire you or they're gonna fire you. If you too Black, they're gonna fire you. They tell you too Black. How are you too Black? Because I love my people and I'm watching out for my people and I want to see my people grow. How is that too Black? Because I care about my people. They don't want Black folk that care about their people. They want Black folk that talk like Candace Owens. White folk love her. She thinks. Because I'm gonna tell you what, when she had that baby, they talked about that little baby. They talked about that baby like a dog. But she didn't say one thing, did she? She didn't give him that same work that she gave us, did she? But guess what? A lot of Black folk, the Afghanistans didn't stand for traitors. A lot of cultures don't stand for traitors like Candace. We'll stand for Candace because nothing we can do. What can we do? What can we do about Candace? We just let her talk noise, right? And do nothing. We get mad, but we do nothing. But other cultures, Candace, they would have dealt with her a long time ago. I'm just saying. They would have dealt with her a long time ago. But it's time for us to understand, family, that we've got to come back. We've got to come back to each other. We've got to come back as a family. They need us to survive. We are helping them to survive. Do we understand that? We are genociding our own. When I see these gay men and when I see these people supporting Lil Nas and Black, young, we're talking about young folk, 20, 30-year-old, and I hear a lot of them say, well, his life isn't affecting mine. Yes, it is affecting yours. You just don't know it. You won't know it till years down the line, but older people like myself try to tell them how he affects your life. I tell them, get this book. I tell them about the Wesley Muhammad book. I tell them, hey, read this book. Then you might understand. They get mad. Because I'm on Facebook, you know, in them little comments, when I hear stuff, one opinion was talking about Nas and what do you think about him? And I went in. Read this book before you talk about how great he is. He's talented. That's not talent. He's being used by white supremacy. And whoever, that's not his talent. It was somebody behind him who's pushed him forward, who's paying him to step forward. That's a Trojan horse in the Black community. I did a story on that. That's the Pied Piper of the Black community. I did a story on that. Look at it, read it, understand it. He's not good for the Black community. And why are we supporting people that's not good like Cardi B? Well, lift her. We bought her a $3 million house. You know that lady just bought a $3 million house? How many on here got $3 million house? How many on here got their own business? I hope that's what you're doing now. And I told you I did my own business. I'm doing my first show on Saturday. Okay, near my house. I'm doing my first. I'm going to present my business. And I told you I'm working it. I'm selling generators now. Don't forget to get your own generators. I am advertising generators. Yes, I told you I'm getting my own business. I'm going to be done with this country. I'm putting things in place so that I'm making money when I move my butt to my Gambia. I have land in Gambia. Yes. I hope you guys are looking into buying your land. Ghana is giving out land. $700, you guys. If you don't, you better, I'm telling you, you better have a way to live in this country. If you're going to stay in America, you better have a way to live off the grid. You better have a place in the woods, in the mountains. I'm telling you, go buy you some land in the cut. You got to get off the grid. You need to have your own business so that you can move and relocate to another country, you guys. I don't care if you're going to Cayman Islands. I don't care. Costa Rica. I don't care. As long as you're not in America, because America's getting ready to go through hell, and you do not want to go through hell with it because you didn't leave. Yes, Lil Nas is being used to push an agenda. Yes, they're paying him well. You better believe that little Negro is being paid well to do what he does. And it's so sad because we've sold out our own. But he already told you how he feels about your children. He said, F your children. Did he not? He don't care nothing about your children. Pied Piper. Exact description of that fool. Yep. Yes. That's what I call him, Pied Piper. Remember the Trojan horse? We accept him into our community, and then what? You have a lot of Trojan horses. Also Black Trojan horses in the community. Like Tone Talk. They talk Black, but then what happened to Tone Talk? Then they were starting at the end talking about voting Democrat, didn't they? Remember Tone Talk, how he was talking at first? Him and Yvette Carnell, how they was talking at first? And then they started talking about doing what? Voting Democrat, didn't they? Okay. Roland Martin always talked about it. Yes, he has, Isaac. He's done. And we know that. So my thing is, if you know that he sold his soul, why would you even bother listening to his disgusting music? And who also is a Trojan horse in the Black community, and I know everybody loves him, Jason Black. I've heard his video as far as the business and how he talks about Black women. Something's wrong. Something, and y'all need to help me understand something is wrong there. He talks on one hand about white supremacy. He never comes up with a plan. Never comes up with a plan. He's been on 10 years, never comes up with a plan. He's got millions of followers, which is very disgusting, but he never comes up with a plan. And then when Black folk call in to his show, he's very rude to them. When a woman calls him, he's rude to him. He has a show, The Business. And yes, Cardi B sold her soul too. But Jason Black has a show called Business. And I'm telling you what, he's disgusting to me. I mean, he talks a good game, but he never comes up with a conclusion. And it's something out of place with him. I think I'm seeing there's something out of place. And I know he was not raised by his mom. That could be an issue, a mother issue. And I do believe that little boys that grow up without their mom become hateful, and they become very angry with their parents, with their mom, particularly because that mom is so important. And you can grow up with a dad without a dad, but you can't grow up without your mom. And don't forget, I wrote my book, A Mother's Love. I'm gonna see if I have a copy of it here. I have the workbook. I have the workbook. You got. Oh, I do have the book. I do have the book. Let me show you. I wrote a book. I wrote a book. It's called The Mother's Love. I have a workbook, and it talks about parenting, talks about how it took me 20 years to write this book. And I wrote it concerning how I raised my girls. Okay. And I look at them today, and I finished the book after they were grown because I wanted to write it while I was raising them. I wanted to see the end result. So yes, this is my new book. I'm selling generators. I'm selling my book. I have a traveling 3 nights for $100. But you have to listen to a tour. Do a tour. You have to listen to the tour or have 7-night anywhere in America. And I can beat any price. If you come to me and say, hey, I want to go to Jamaica, 7 nights, 4-star. I have condos, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. 4 stars, 7 nights, and I can get you a really great price. Yes, you should go back to Jamaica, Ingrid, and you should build up your country. Yes, get you a group. Don't try to do it by yourself. You cannot do it by yourself, but you can get a group. You get your security team, and you shut all of that criminal stuff down, and you can do it, Ingrid. I'm sorry, I'm bad at names. I'm sorry, but you can do it. And you should go back home, but you be different. You don't be like everybody else, and you shut it down. And you can grow just like Haiti. I do believe that the Haitians, why are you coming to a country that you see that hates us? Why would you want to come and be infiltrated in that? I don't understand the thinking of Haiti. Thank you. My business, yes. And I'm trying to get it out there. I'm trying to really grow it. I do believe that we're going to need generators. I'm going to add emergency kits to it. And it'll come in a backpack. So I'm trying to grow my businesses because I'm doing the travel, and then I'm selling my book, and now I'm doing generators, but also I'm getting ready to add on these emergency kits, okay, medical kits and survival kits to my generator plan. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm going to retire, but I had to put I had to get it together to where I'll be able to live, and I want to help. I want to get like a food pantry in Gambia. I'm sorry. I want to be able to create a place for them to come, like a homeless shelter, but I need to be able to incorporate it to where I'm getting the food, I'm getting donations for the food, but I have not figured that out yet. So if you guys have some ideas, I want to come with something. I don't want to come just living off of them and just, it's just me and my business and that's it. No, I want to bring something to the table for them, and they need a place to sleep. I don't care if I have to build like a big shelter, aluminum shelter building, and we put cots in there, we get blankets, and we get and I have a kitchen. I want to be able to have them to come a place to eat. This is what I want. I just have so many great ideas that I want to do, but I need to make sure that I'm straight financially before I can do for them. I can't help somebody and I'm not financially straight. Yes, solar generator route. Yes. And I do believe that even when you go to Africa, you need more solar because they have so much sun. that when you build your house, I'm gonna do all solar. I'm not gonna build a house with any electric. It's gonna be all solar. That's the way I'm gonna do it. So I would never be without power. Okay. And I do believe that that's what we need to go toward when you move to these different countries, especially in Africa. Go solar. Don't put electric in your house. Go solar. Okay. Yes. Isaac, you need to be putting that into, and I do believe that by the end of the year we need to be out. I want it to be out sooner, but I just need to put some things in order. Isaac, you need to be, yeah, you need to do it. If you had that dream, you need to be out. Ingrid, kids need both their fathers. Yes, we both fathers and mothers. We can't do this without them, and we're trying to do it without our men. Ladies, we cannot teach our boys how to be men, how to be providers, and our men are there to teach our boys how to be men. Our men are there to teach them how to be providers, how to be how to survive. I can't teach a little boy how to pee. I don't stand up and pee. I'm just saying. And our men teach our daughters what kind of men to attract to themselves. Our men teach our daughters how to get the dream. You know how some girls grow up with their dad and they attract a man just like their dad. So it's very important to have a great role model, ladies, when you're picking out these men. Just don't go and get drug addicts and try to regroup them. You don't have time for all that. You go and get somebody that's already had the mindset of where you are and where you're wanting to go. Okay. Most likely get the man where you're going. That's where you're going to hang out. Okay. That's what you want. You have a business as far as, a business mindset. You want a man that's already got his business going and he can help you to get there, or you can hook up with him. You guys get there together. Okay. I'm just saying, going over there to make money. You will end up helping a ton of people by simply creating job opportunities. Yes. We do. When we go, it's about helping our brothers and sisters. It's about providing a service for them. And I do believe that if you have a service that you're going to provide, you'll do fine in Africa. You have to provide a service. And I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect, because it's not, because they've got, you got some stinky thinkers in Africa, just like you got stinky thinkers here. Don't go over there and think that those people are going to accept you open. These are people that don't have anything. And, I'm not saying all of them. I'm just saying the majority, and it's just different areas of Africa that you need to think about. And I see a lot of more of South Africa that has, more of what you need, but I have no desire to move to South Africa, because it's just like moving to America to me. I don't want to live around a bunch of white folk. I don't, with bigotry mindsets. And that to me is what I'm seeing in South Africa. And I see the Africans in South Africa that's been hanging around the white folks begin to think just like them. So I don't have a desire to move to any part of South Africa. I don't. But I do believe that we go to help them to grow, and we go to like you said, make money, but also in the same token to help our sisters and brothers over there. They can teach us, because they have a family unit there, and they can teach us how to be a family man. They can teach us how we need to do it in order to change a lot of our stinky thinking about a family, and they can help us that way. But we can also teach them how white folk think, because we've dealt with them for so long, and I don't understand. And I asked somebody that was from Africa, I said, why is it that you guys have been through apartheid, but you still trust white folk? And they said a lot of countries in Africa didn't go through apartheid. So they don't know how the white folks treated us here. They had no idea. And this is why they have so much respect for white people. And I said, well, and we could take that back to them to help them to understand how white people are. They're very dangerous to our society, to us, to Black people, and we have to understand that. But we first got to help Black people to understand that white folk are very dangerous. We've been around them so long, and they tell you to drink some Kool-Aid, and you go, okay, give me the cup, and you got your little glass and you're drinking, right? Okay. And glad to drink. And don't think nothing of it. And keep smiling like it's all good. I've seen Hank Aaron, and I saw him, and I see our pastors, Black pastors that have opened up their churches for the Kool-Aid. and TD Jakes have come on and spoke about getting the Kool-Aid. And it's very sad because I seen one white pastor, and he was the only one that I heard him say that. And this was Kenneth Copeland. I don't even like him like that, but he said one thing. He said that he needed his own. He has his own plane, but he needed his own airport because he wants to be able to come and go without taking the Kool-Aid, because he said it's the mark of the beast. And I do believe that it is the start of the mark of the beast. And people are not putting two and two together. And then they're talking about boosters and all this crazy stuff. But I just want us to really concentrate on us right now. Okay. They gonna do what they do, but you have to understand that Yah has always protected us, and he's always going to protect us, but just make sure that we separate from them, because if we don't separate from them, we are going to be destroyed, and we are going to reap the same punishment that they are getting. Okay. I do appreciate everybody that came in. I don't like to be on here more than an hour and a half because people get bored and they get, so I hope that you guys heard what I said and really taken into account and understanding that we are all we got. We can't do this by ourselves, you guys. And we need our men, ladies. I don't want to hear one another black woman say, I don't need a man. What the hell you need then, a woman? Yo, come on. What do you mean? I don't need a man. I hate to hear women say that. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. You just don't know that's my pet peeve. When I hear a black woman or a man say, I don't need a black woman, or talking really bad about black women, that bothers me because I'm a black woman and I'm a black mom. I didn't have any sons, but I'm a black mom, and my daughter, they have guys, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, even with them, I would never disrespect them. I try to teach my daughters, hey, they're very strong black women, but they know how to back up and let the man be the man. They do. They know how to do it with their, not dating or whatever, when they're doing what they do. But when they get into, and one of my daughters getting ready to get married. So I do understand. She knows how to be the woman that she needs to be and back down or back up and let her man be the man of the house. I would never take that from my husband. He's always the man of the house. If I want to do something, I go and say, hey, honey, what about blah, blah, blah? And we talk about it. But we have to get back to the basics of family being married, because our men are our black men make great parents. I've seen some black men with their babies, but I've also seen, and what really hurts is I've seen a lot of black men doing things for these white women that they would not do for a black woman. I've seen a lot of black men being a really good father for these white women, their babies. Or a black, they dated this woman, had a baby with this woman, and I see them being fathers that they should be toward their own, and they're not. I'm glad you did too, Michael. Thank you for coming. But I do not want to be all day. I just want you guys to think about it. I want to just drop the nuggets and run, just so you guys can pick it up and keep running with it, or think about how can you guys impact the conclusion of this matter is, what are you going to do different? I hope you're getting your own businesses. I hope you're thinking about it. I'm not the only one that can sell generators. We're going to need generators. Even with my business, I am hiring. I hire people because if you sell a trip, they pay for it, you get paid. That simple as that. The more money, the more trips you sell, the more you get paid. It's up to you. I tell people, I'm hiring. I can't do my business by myself. I need people. You get phone numbers. You get money for getting phone numbers. They call the people. They come and do a tour. You get paid once they pay that money. And just think, it's a 3-day free trip. All they have to do is pay down $100 deposit. They get the $100 back. And sometimes they get $200 back. And they went on a free trip and got $100 out the door. They got the $100 back plus another $100. You can't lose. Come on, you guys. Traveling is, people want to travel now. I have 3-day trips to Williamsburg, Virginia, Massanutten, Virginia. Florida has 2 spots, and Las Vegas. So 3-day trips. But I want you guys to think about what we've talked about. And I want you guys to think about having your own business. You got to get off the grid. You got to come from among these white folk. You got to come from working for them. You're working for the enemy and you're growing up their business, and they want to pay you peanuts. You don't have to accept their peanuts. Thank you so much, you guys. And with that said, we are going to end this live, but I want you guys to think about How are you going to impact your surroundings? How are you going to impact your families? And what are you going to do different? And how are you going to change your mindset? Because we need to be more aware of our white supremacy mindset, and we need to start taking up for our own. We need to start supporting our own and being there for our own, and understanding that they have put a system in place to hurt us, to kill us, to harm us, to keep us behind. And we have to recognize that system, and we have to learn how to go around that system, because no weapon formed against us. But you have to understand the system. You have to know how to go around the system, and we have to support each other out of their system. And that's the only way that we're going to live and survive and be prosperous. You will never be prosperous working their system, working for their businesses. You're only going to make them prosperous. And that's what we've done. We've made them millions of dollars. They paid you $7.50 to work their business. They paid you $8, $9, $10. They won't even pay you over $12 now to work their business. They won't even pay you a good living, but you work in their business 40 hours or more a week. Enough is enough. With that said, family, I will see you next Wednesday. Next Wednesday at 12 or 12:30. Usually I'm trying to stay within that because I'll be doing so much in the morning, but I don't want to rush doing it. But I'll see you between 12 and 12:30 next Wednesday, every Wednesday. With that said, you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Peace, family. And for the ones that are here, like and share before you go. And the ones that come after I'm gone, after I'm done with this live, like and share. And we'll see you next Wednesday at 12 to 12:30. Peace, family.